I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, After Buzzers. We're back. Altered Carbon Season 2, Episode 6, Bury Me Dead. I'm your host, Shaka Smith, joined by my lovely co-host, Miss Kari Lane.
What's up? How's it going?
Our sci-fi extraordinaire. And we got Mr. Nate Miller.
What's going on, guys?
With the realest After Buzz reviews. And myself, I've been here Season 1 and just ready to hold it down and get into Episode 6. Wow. We were expecting fireworks, and I think we got them.
Yes.
Definitely got them. Today we're going to talk about Kovacs' Return Part 2, the turning of Kovacs and Kemp's betrayal, and of course we have our Badass of the Week segment, where we pick a superhero or someone of like character in mind, like Kovacs, and we see who might win in a fight. But let's just go into our overall thoughts of this episode.
Well, we semi-predicted things would pick up, and they sure did. I think this one was way more action-packed, a lot more intrigue and exciting of like... And it ends even more cliffhanger that definitely want to binge the next two and hurry up and see what happens.
Yeah, how about you, Nate?
Definitely one of the stronger episodes. I think there wasn't so much plot that you were able to ask a lot of questions. There's a lot more things resolving, some things coming together. I liked a couple of the reveals that we had. I think better than average episode for this season.
Did you like it more because there was no Poe?
There was no Poe.
There was no Poe.
To be honest with you, I didn't even notice.
But now you're like, maybe that was why I liked it more.
But that could be kind of the fat of the episode. So it was much more streamlined of an episode.
But I also felt like maybe someone was like, okay, Episode 6, guys, step it up. 'Cause it hasn't been going well. For me, it just felt like the writing was better. The conversations were better. Even the things that we kind of think are silly, they like acknowledged in the show and like paid it off a little bit. So yeah, it was better, but I thought tonally almost different. But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's
it
get
was
into
a strong
it.
one.
Yeah, Kovacs' Return Part 2. Where do we start? But we learned that Kovacs has been hanging on the side of a mountain for maybe 2 days.
At least overnight, because man, night and day in this episode was a little whack from the last one to this one. I'm like, wait, first he goes outside and suddenly nighttime, and now it's suddenly daytime. We'll just assume it's the next morning.
Yeah, but it's been a long time. So how did you guys feel about Kovacs' survival mode? I really thought we were going to get him to actually die, but no.
I like that they have the moment that is I really appreciate when a show acknowledges the viewer's question of like, okay, come on, how did that happen? Yeah. Well, my body has a innate survival instincts that kick in. You go, fine.
Okay, at least you told me.
But the way he flew off the cliff was a little bit like, whew.
You don't understand. The body has automatic survival responses.
No, it's the magnetic to the, whatever
to the stone.
materials that are in the yes.
Yeah. There's metal in rock.
That's why I was like, sure.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm all fine for explaining stuff like that, but it shouldn't be done after the fact, where you do something that you didn't know could be done, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I can do that. Then it's like, to me, that's
convenient.
not as that's like we had to do this, so now we have to explain it. Like good writing is earlier in the season, episode 2 or something. We see this in action where like he trips or something, and the thing just like flips himself so he lands safely. Anything to
be
kind
fair,
of pre-lead this.
It's possible it could have been written on a post-it note and we didn't watch and we didn't see it.
Hey.
we just glanced over it. We're like, all these post-it
there were
notes.
lots of
it could have been like survival mode. Look at the arms. Yeah. Maybe. But then we got a good fight with the wolf pack. And which also
I don't know if that was a good fight. That went by fast. No, but yes,
It was actually nice to see that.
It was better choreography. We could see it.
Yeah, I could see the action, and we got it led to Danica kind of walking on Jaeger. What do you guys think about the fighting and then Danica and Jaeger having a little tete-a-tete?
I like some of the Wolfpack fighting. I felt like the first one went down a little too fast. I'm like, wait, because they all should be so good.
Elites, and enhanced.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you have the element of surprise. So I like that the second and third, fourth fight were like really good. I felt that first one could have maybe been a beat longer. At least the surprise could have been a bigger thing. But it was nice to see in the daylight with the trees and like an actual struggle for our protagonists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels inconsistent. Like throughout the show and in many scenarios, there are things where they tell us like so-and-so is very strong or they can do this, they can do that. And then it's like, oh, unless they need to lose. So like this person now suddenly is stronger than them. Like it's just, it doesn't, especially after the first one goes down and even, the way that like Jaeger is like taken away and stuff. It's like these guys that earlier in the season were set up to be these super ultra modified soldiers with wolf blood and like are just getting overwhelmed by
and would kill
regular dudes
and would kill indiscriminately. Like, they're not killing other people in part of Danica's cabinet or anything like that.
We have that whole scene in the first episode where they're like tossing the gun around.
Yeah, and they're so good.
Yeah,
and the fact that Trep can fight them just fine.
Yeah.
She can fight them. And I mean, we know she's really good, but again, these are supposed to be elite.
I do think choreography-wise, they did make an effort to show that she was weaker. She had a harder time holding her own than Kovacs did, but yeah. And again, more convenient. Like, there's some rule in this universe where when you point a gun at someone, you have to talk and wait a beat before you're allowed to shoot them,
right? Yeah, just
which
give it a moment.
Conveniently allows them to be saved.
No snipers in this show. Not exactly.
No snipers.
Guns
only work.
The people in the stronghold, we don't even need to talk to them. Just kill them all.
Yeah, quickly. That was
Wait, we'll pause on that. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, that was...
But there, I guess,
fighting was better.
And in this world, though, everyone's got to be a sharpshooter because you're going for the stack, right? So everyone maybe, that's how you train. Just go very quickly.
I mean, not necessarily. You can put someone down without RDing them. Like, if someone is dead, they're still dead.
That's true,
you can pull their stack out and spin them up, but they can't like get up and like
it's not a zombie,
themselves.
yeah.
I felt like a lot of the kill shots it looked like they were going for the stacks. Did you see that or no?
I
didn't notice
really see
as
that.
much.
I was always like looking for where
mowing them down.
Yeah.
And so we get that great scene though with Danica and Jaeger, and Jaeger calling her a bitch, and of course Danica walks in on cue.
I like that.
That was a nice moment. I thought the dialogue was better here.
Yeah, I like their banter more, and she's just like not taking his shit at all. And she's like, nope, I'm going to wait right here. And then how much she enjoyed bothering him was fun.
Yeah, I love it.
She's like, careful, you might pop something. So it's like they're both villains, but you enjoy them bothering each other.
Yes, but it does seem that Danica is playing that level of 3D chess that Jaeger's he's not quite playing, even though it seems like he's got all the cards that he wants. But part of that is now we got the turning of Kovacs, which, from the get-go, we see Jaeger just concerned that he's meeting up with Chris Falconer. But you've brought him up to do this very thing. And it's your greatest enemy who turned against you because of her. Why even bring her up in the first place? You are concerned about it. Why do you even start?
I feel that's a convenient plot thing of, don't look. Yeah, he should have taken her out already, and I definitely was pleasantly not surprised, but called it of he falls in love with her all over again, essentially. Well, we don't know if it's love yet, but he is impressed and enamored of her right away. Like, damn, she's so cool. Just even later, just can't keep my eyes off her. It felt almost cheesy, but if it's the same kind of person,
he's gonna have the same reaction.
Of course, it's gonna probably have the same reaction. And yes. Oh, see, you didn't buy it.
It just doesn't make sense because the catalyst that causes him to turn and join the rebellion hasn't happened for him yet.
But it was a different one, like him getting to see his sister.
Well, that
like
was
that.
it.
Before any of that, he has a mission. He just came off ice. He doesn't know this person. He doesn't have any of this connection. He sees her there, and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna take my armor off, put my weapon down, and walk up and talk to her instead of following orders.
No, because he wanted to be the golden boy and get the weapon.
Yeah,
he wanted to be the golden boy and get the weapon.
I think that's a stretch because being the golden boy would be doing what Jaeger wants, and he's refusing a direct order from Jaeger like multiple times.
But then Jaeger's like his father, and he's saying, "Wait a minute, Dad, I can do you one better and get that weapon that you want."
Maybe he's always been that kind of guy that's like not exactly following orders and does his own thing.
But does the thing that you want the most, that actually is going to reap you the most.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's. I mean,
he's intrigued and curious
but
about
I have to explain it.
I
just
don't buy if that's the case. Why does Jaeger spin him up?
Well, that's what I don't get, because Jaeger shouldn't have been concerned about him being turned by Kell at all, because if he were, he shouldn't have spun him up in the first place.
Right.
And that's the part that didn't gel with me, because from the get-go he's like, uh-oh.
He's like, wait, don't talk to her.
Yeah, it's like, then why did you bring him?
She'll use her feminine wiles on you.
And you know that she's there and she's involved.
And you're going to turn, because that's what you do.
Let's go with both Jaeger and Kovacs need to get the information from her while she's alive. Because Kovacs says that of like, no, we need to get it while she's alive. She won't tell us in virtual. So they explain it loosely. And he thinks he can get closer of like, let me be like the old version that she knows.
And get the weapon right now. So Kovacs' motivation made sense, but Jaeger didn't make sense to me. But
like in the arrogance part, yeah, but there's no sound logical reason for him to think that they can't get it from her in VR because he hasn't gone through Envoy training yet, so he doesn't know about any of that stuff.
They've told him she's that good.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, but
they also caught him up on 300 years of technology.
But there is
he's not really because he's like lie detector.
Yeah, exactly right. No, but there is also something. I think they are trying to give us this idea that they are connected, because she turns and says talk, like she knows it's talk. He had that beat where he looked at her and didn't kill her right away, where it was more of a, not a conscious decision, but something like his body wanted to know her, you know?
Their souls are intertwined. It's fate.
Yeah, there's something to that. The body has memory. Remember we talked about the body. Yeah.
But the body hasn't met her yet, so.
But it's still...
But I still would go with...
he doesn't have
even
this
go before that.
connection with
Let's
her.
go with fate. Fate, they're being pulled together anyways.
When you see your soulmate, you'll react regardless
Yes,
of
there we
when
go.
or how. But we do get Kel realizing right away that, hey, this is not my talk. And I think we saw that moment there where she kind of realizes, looks at him.
She goes,
She
no.
says, I'm going to take you somewhere real quick.
Yeah.
And we get...
Let's bide some time.
Yeah, and I love that we get more backstory here. What do you think about the backstory? And we know that Kovacs' main drive, this new one, is Ray, because that's the only one he's got in his life. So was that strong enough for you to make this turn happen for you guys?
Yeah, that's why I was saying the turn here is different because it's more the sister and the memories. And I think since it's the same guy, he's not an idiot, and he's been told this other information. And I think Kel is just that good at being persuasive and planting those seeds to direct where his thought process will go. And she knows him well enough to like, hey, if I tell you this is going to be the result. And so him seeing his sister and the fact that she does a betrayal would make him question the other him of like, oh, maybe you killed her for a good reason, which he gets to ask that question later.
Yeah, which I love that little heart-to-heart with himself.
With yourself.
Yeah. What about you? Was that a strong enough hook for you, Ray, and seeing her hologram that would make him turn?
I mean, if we're gonna excuse all of the hoops that they had to jump through to get there,
of course we are.
Sure, yes, it's a good motivator for him, especially since he already established that like Ray's the only thing that he cares about, and then the revelation to him that Jaeger sold her out and he's the one responsible. Like, of course, that's really important. That was cool. I just had a hard time buying into the premise of even getting there.
Yeah.
It was just. I do want to say though that the Raylene thing with the hologram and stuff, that to me is like the best of a return character coming back. That didn't really feel shoehorned. It actually was not only relevant to the plot, but also was a nice kind of callback to references to stuff that we've seen in the first season without it just being like, hey, you saw the first season, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
Well, it's the backstory of how Kel's alive that we would want to know, and then also Ray's direction of her thought process and what moments in her life.
It's
so
still
it was
also,
nice to
though,
get that.
Yeah.
Again, the science feels very hand wavy of like the body's there, but it's like frozen, but it's like totally fine. Hasn't
In
deteriorated
stasis.
in
It's
3
fine.
It's in stasis. You
But
saw
she's
it was
awake.
it was in a pod, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we have a pod,
Cryogenically frozen. It's fine.
And then the body gets up. So that means that the body that she's in now is the
same 300-year-old body.
clone.
Yeah. And yeah. And why even? Because didn't they say they force cloned her? They said they force cloned her.
Yes. Well, because she didn't want to come back, so I mean, I guess.
But what's forced cloning? Is that where they just? I got the impression they aged her real quickly to that body. But I said,
I think whenever they do clones, they come out whatever the age of. I don't think it's clones like.
they started
Like Star Wars clones where they raise them an accelerated age and then like they turn into
so that's
soldiers.
just
I think
what
it's
it
just
is.
like you step in the cloning machine and then it builds a sleeve that looks like whatever you're cloning.
Yeah. The science has been a little.
We'll just go with
murky,
she
yeah.
didn't want to clone,
Because
and
we
that's why
also-
they the forced.
Yeah.
We don't know if none of this has been explained, but like how do the sleeves age? How does that work? Like do you age out of a sleeve and then you have to get a new one and then you like a reset to back to where you were before, or like
Because that's
do they just age really, really
Because,
slowly, or do they not age at all? And when you want to be old, you got to like switch to an old sleeve?
I did think
Like,
about
it's
that
all-
with Trep's son because I was
and that's
like,
that's the other thing too. The whole thing with the kids re-sleeving, like, so could there be adults in kids' bodies? Could there
Yeah.
be kids in
Yeah.
adult bodies?
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole
we
can
had
of
wait
worms.
for season 1 we had a grandma in a
Yeah.
younger man's body.
But that was like a
that's-
special occasion
yeah,
for that
and
one.
that was like a
Yeah.
loner sleeve and stuff. But like,
well, the other thing too.
But that's also not
Did
that's not a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still somebody a different age. But then the kid and aging made me think of when Kovacs and Jaeger are talking, and it's like a father figure, but visually they look the same age.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what that's like with parent and child, that you could look at your child and you're like the same age.
Yeah, there's got to be some rules in this society
There's something
regarding,
else
but we
that's not
just don't
explained.
know.
Yeah, they haven't really delved deep into that.
But what I did love was that heart-to-heart again with Kovacs. I really thought we saw a little bit the acting chops of Anthony Mackie. I was saying I haven't really seen that. Maybe I don't know.
I did like that scene of his being emotional.
Yeah, and the explanation and going back and forth. And I thought the dialogue was good and it matched. I just thought it was a really good scene.
Would you want to meet your clone or make a clone of yourself?
And convince my clone
Your
that
original-
No,
it-
it's not you have to convince your clone, but
Don't
if you
kill
could
me.
have a clone, would you?
Of course.
I would, yeah. It'd be
Yeah.
so interesting.
Hell no.
No? No? Just,
No. Yeah.
just-
No, that's a terrible idea.
Well, I think maybe we'll have to visit that in the special segment. Would you clone yourself?
Yeah.
But we got to talk about Kemp's betrayal, which is I like this part of the storyline because it came out of left field for me. I didn't see it coming, so I really liked it. What did you guys think about Kemp's betrayal? But even before we got there, the whole envoy testing, I thought that was a really great scene.
I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
No, you
Man,
didn't
I
like
just
that lie
have
detector test?
I just have a lot of questions because if Kemp's not real, then
No, he is real.
but he's not really, he's working for,
The Protectorate. Yeah.
well, not even
Well,
the Protector,
yeah,
he's working for
for-
Harlan.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
So like I just have a lot of questions about like because they mentioned the daughter thing, which would have been 300 years ago.
Yeah.
So like the Kemp family like stayed loyal until this guy, and then he like turned on them, or like there's just a lot of questions I have of. They spend this time going, oh yeah, we're the legitimate people, and then at the end he's like, oh, by the way, no, not really. I'm actually working for the enemy.
They had to use someone who's been a Kellis for a while, right?
Right.
Or
No,
with
I
a
understand.
history,
Yeah, as a figurehead, it has to be someone.
I thought something
Yeah.
was off with him. I don't know when, but once they were in in Stronghold, it felt like something was weird.
Yeah, I thought something was off when they immediately took them in the manner they did, but then it was for the testing, so I thought, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, and then the testing, you're just like, something's off. And I think Kel felt that too, of like, something's different.
Yeah, but I just love the scenes of answering questions as she's like fighting. you
Yes.
know?
Deflecting bullets with a shovel.
Yeah,
That was some of the best fighting I thought we.
that was
we-
really good.
oh, yeah,
and then
we-
jump and grab
yeah.
the daggers and throw them.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Were you
The
not-
dagger thing was cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
The blocking bullets with a shovel. I'm out.
and
I'm
throwing it
sorry.
at throwing
First of all, the bullets weren't even anywhere near close to her. She's like hitting it with the shovel like way over here. So if you can actually move that fast, you should be able to perceive that you just don't have to do anything and they'll miss you.
Yeah.
Second of all, assuming that for some reason she thought they were gonna miss her, not
She should
only
just stand
is
there.
she like, I don't care what kind of enhancements you have, if she can move that fast, what has she been doing this whole time? No one should be able to catch her. If she can literally stop bullets, and not only just doing it on her own, but swinging that
Well,
huge
wait.
ass shovel
Yeah.
around,
We know
moving it from
she
here
has
to here.
superpowers. Essentially.
All right.
And that is Nate with our realist AfterBuzz review.
But yeah, the fight was
The
great.
knife thing was really cool.
Yes. Then I love that Trep gets her moment of looking at the stacks on the necklace and like, wait.
And I was wondering, how are they going to clean this up? Because this is like a major kind of storyline. It's like, how are we going to clean this up real quickly? But I love the way it did end, and we find out,
And there's a crest on it, which is interesting because I kind of wondered, like, how would you look at them? And I mean, we've seen some of them up close, but we haven't seen a thing of like, I have a family crest on mine, and that's how we know they're all the same.
We've seen a couple that have
okay.
like symbols.
But
and
now,
stuff.
now we
noticed.
know that soul market's not completely crazy. That maybe you could find,
And then the fact that, so I get that, and I like that they both were like, hey, we need a moment. And the fact that Kel kind of apologizes, like, sorry I knocked you out. It's like, oh no, that isn't, we got way bigger problems than that. So I was like, all right, I like that they're teaming up. I'm like, let's get something done.
Because there was moments where I thought they were around each other in a couple episodes, but never really interacted, and I thought that was interesting. I thought, are they even gonna like each other when they start to interact? So it was nice to get that relationship.
Well, it's two alphas essentially.
Yeah.
Like, you either are enemies or you're allies.
Yes, and so they go the ally route, which I love.
Which I appreciated because they weren't being petty or anything stupid. Like, no, it's better for us to work together.
Yeah, and so and with Kemp's betrayal, we get this reveal that the entire thing was fake.
It's all fake.
Mind blowing.
It's one of those like, okay, so then how did that get started is the next question. Of like, and what was the
exact motivation?
Yeah, like why did you think this was the best plan? Why bother?
How about you? What do you think, Nate?
Honestly, I wasn't that surprised. I can't say that I would have called it directly, but I had a feeling that there was some type of conspiracy going on with the conflict, and that Danica was behind it in some regards. I didn't really think she had Kemp himself like under her control, but it makes sense, especially looking back in the first episode when she's like showing him. She's like, "Oh, look, we made peace." Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's nice to finally get some more progression on her plot line and get like a bigger view into what's actually happening on Harlan. But I also do feel like it's like we're now on episode 6, and it had to take us this long to kind of get a little deeper into.
But
that.
I like that they gave it to us in not too like muhaha fashion. Like, it kind of came out, that this was happening.
Yeah.
But what
I liked he died so fast.
Yeah, right. No,
that was kind of funny.
Get rid of it. She was
dead.
like, X-nay on the working for me.
And she's like, turn it off. We kind of said it earlier, and then back to speak of killing, when both Kovacs kill all the other people working for Kemp. I didn't get the sense that all of them were betrayal. Like,
yeah, no, they weren't. They were just gonna kill her because he called the killing.
So I kind of was like, can we? That is the moment where I'm like, can we talk to them and say, hey, hold on? It's all, nope, all die. You are guilty by association.
But you had to, because they were going to kill, because he just, at that moment, he said, kill Kelcrest. It's not her.
I guess so.
So, nah, sorry.
That
so
was
he
the
just
one time
mows
nobody
them all
talks.
down
Yeah.
in one burst. There's like 14 guys.
He hadn't met them. He didn't know.
One clip.
Yeah. But
Well, yeah, I did think that was...
You could have at least given him like a rifle with like a big mag, but it's like a tiny, it's like a AK-47U like scorpion, little like.
It did happen awfully quick.
And there was like 15 of them.
That's what
there
I
was
thought.
a lot of dudes.
There's a lot of people there, and it just felt, again, but there's been moments where it's the inconsistency of let's talk to someone forever before we try to shoot them, and now this time let's not talk to them whatsoever, and even check in with, because a couple of them had a moment of like, wait,
they were confused.
hold on.
Like, what's happening?
I mean, they still followed orders, but
they didn't get the chance to really flush it out. No, not this time. But with Kemp now, he gets mowed down. But we got to talk about the motivation, because I'm still trying to figure this out in my own head. So Danica, she basically just wants Harlan's world for herself and the Protectorate to be hands off. Is that what the whole motivation for this war and peace was? To rule Harlan's world without any interference from the Protectorate, and if she's somehow the hero,
oversight, maybe.
Because this is an elaborate plan. So I'm like, that's the one thing I was like, wait, so is all of that just for this? Because the Protectorate's still gonna run everything, right?
Everything else, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Protectorate's involvement was mostly because of the Kellist. So I don't know.
But she created.
Right.
This fake conflict, essentially. And then also, we talked about it, too, of, like, the whole world. Because she's governor or, in charge of... It makes it seem more like a large city or state. So the concept of the whole world, I feel, is sometimes lost. Of, like, wait, so the people here and the people on this side, like...
Yeah,
there's not another person in charge. She's in charge of the entire planet.
I don't remember exactly if they talked about it, but I think the way that Harlan's world is set up is it's basically like one giant mega city, and then the rest of it is all like the trees and forest stuff that we saw and like the mining areas.
So nobody really lives out there?
Yeah, I think most of the rest of it is not
inhabited the same way. It's not.
Right.
Same reason why there's only one needle cast station on the entire planet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense to me from a control. From a control.
They're small town. They only got one.
Well,
I'm not buying it.
Well, the way they...
Wait, didn't they say close the other one? So maybe that was it too. Like she said, we need to have all the other ones closed so that they come to the central one.
See, yeah,
no one can turn it back on.
Apparently not without her permission.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Sure.
She's got a boop boop.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah. Doesn't need to cue it up or anything. It's ready to go.
But that's what I want to know more about why she started this plan to begin with, because it doesn't look like she's getting that much for what she's trying to achieve. But
like, does she just want to rule everything? Agreed.
But
like, but why?
Yeah, just be greater than your father. But I mean, I guess we still have answers to get from there as well.
Yes.
But this episode ends with a lightning strike
yes!
from Kelcrest, which is amazing, but really unexplained. are you guys trying to like figuring that out? Like, what was your reaction to that?
I have not quite understood how the like ceiling of in the sky works to the ground, but they said the angels before essentially of like it shoots down everything.
Yeah,
That's
so it's
a
some sort
problem.
of protective system, but now she's in control. Or...
But I didn't think that was organically connected to the planet, because the way she's organically connected to the planet now with the tree,
yeah,
if that dome is connected, that makes sense if she's able to tap into that system, which sure, organic material is like a computer. It felt a little bit of a stretch, but I was like, all right, sure.
Well, it looked cool.
And Trep was affected by it because
Yeah.
she had like stuff going on, though Kovacs had no
Yeah.
reaction to it
What did you-
physically.
What did our realist AfterBuzz reviewer think?
No, I mean, I
Lightning.
was on board. I also agree. It seems like the inference right now, what I'm led to believe, is that she's connected to the planet and somehow, or the elders or whatever, and they've said several times that they don't understand that tech. So I'm okay. Sure. Sure.
I get like
It was
Avatar
cool.
vibes almost, like the living planet sort of
Yeah.
vibes from this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would definitely. Yeah, definitely seems like they're going that kind of route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked really cool.
Well,
It was very useful because it didn't hurt them.
and then, yeah,
and
it,
zapped
it,
all
got
the other
and it
people.
got the job done real
Yes.
quick. Yeah, so when you just think you can't get out of a situation, hey, just
Yeah.
tap into the planet. So we got to go over our badass of the week, where we pick a badass to kind of face off with Kovacs, who's of comparable, comparability to Kovacs. Who's your badass of the week? You always go first, Nate, so we'll go with Kari.
I'm going to go with Deadpool
Nice.
because he's pretty darn indestructible, so I think he has the durability to last in a fight for a while. He's also super creative of using any object as a weapon in his surroundings, so I feel he's resourceful enough that he could definitely take Kovacs out.
Nice. Nate, what you got?
I have the Terminator.
Terminator.
I think the Terminator would win.
Also something who just keeps coming. And,
Which
Yeah.
Terminator?
Oh yeah, that's true. Which one?
The one from T2, the T1000, I think. I don't know.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
The one that turns to liquid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Metal?
that was
Yeah. That's very
Becomes solid
useful.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, but actually, Kovacs has got this metallic sort of magnetic deal.
Oh, I wonder, yeah.
So there might be, and we know there's a lot of stuff with the sleeve we don't know about that comes up.
Oh,
There
yeah.
might be an extra trick.
I'm sure there will be. That will be explained after. We see.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then for me, I picked Hancock.
Yeah.
Hancock's indestructible. He's got the whole deal. But Hancock's an alcoholic and he's dealing with some issues. And we saw Kovacs have the heart-to-heart with himself. So Kovacs knows how to really bring someone back. And I think
They would
think
have a
that-
heart-to-heart?
Yeah, I think he'd have a heart-to-heart with
Yeah.
Hancock, and he would win that fight. He'd get his desired
What?
result. He'd get his desired result. He'd win the fight by brokering peace.
Okay.
And of course, we got to go into our predictions for episode 7.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Kind of a hard play because we have a lot of information that's kind of like whoa.
Yeah. I really hope they have a moment after the lightning strikes that Trep is like, WTF was that? And them to talk about it and maybe go, oh, by the way, because Kel hasn't quite expressed what the specifics are of what she's going through. She's just kind of like, oh, it's like I'm trapped inside a dream. Maybe like, hey, I see the living, growing, glowy tree thing in my head, and I feel like it's trapping me, and it's out here too. I feel I'm connected.
Yeah.
Like, I want that conversation.
She's looking for those words. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if we got that.
Oh, I doubt, yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the next episode's gonna not start there. It's gonna probably start with Harlan or something, or Poe coming up to be like, "Oh, here's what I found out."
There could be other information. Ooh,
Well, we have this-
maybe archaeologists did
Dig.
gets the research information on the founders and the elders, and then maybe that leads to the motivation of Danica.
Yeah, I mean, they have, I think, importantly made note of the archaeologues being wiped out several times, and so I think it makes sense for like the reason why they wiped them out is because they knew something about the elders that the founders don't want to know. Yeah, I could definitely tie together. All I know is there better be a lot of knots being tied together next episode.
Yeah, it's got to be at this point, right? Yeah. Do we trust new Kovacs?
I think I do. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily let my guard down, but I would keep him around.
Yeah, because he could still kind of decide, wait a minute, it's not for me, or he's still on the edge. Do you trust him?
I mean, I feel pretty solid about his character change. I would be very surprised for him to turn and double cross. I think he'll probably just give his life to save them or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because we need sort of like a martyr, but without a martyr.
Right. Yeah, because he goes to save himself.
Like, I died for you.
Yeah, Kovacs number 2.
Yeah,
but maybe he lets the other one live. Who knows? Which Kovacs we get? My prediction.
Definitely Anthony Mackie's Kovacs.
You know what? My prediction. Now I'm going to do the Yeah, so I'm going to predict that at the end, the end of all of it, that the new Kovacs, Anthony Mackie's Kovacs, says, you know what? You don't have the jaded thing that I have. I'm going to let you be the Kovacs to survive. So that'll be my prediction. And as far as Kelchrist and this whole living Earth, I think we're going to get this whole environmental living Earth, living Harlan's world thing. I mean, it seems like it's going that way. But yeah, so I think that's what we'll get. I think we're going to get a good environmental message in the next couple episodes. But yeah.
Because they mined the planet or, took things, destroyed the tree.
I think
special trees.
Well, the stacks, I believe, are made from
the tree
something
stuff, right?
of the same material. They're related in somehow.
Glow.
Yeah, so then you'll realize that that's part of, right. And they're actually part of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that probably has something to do with the stacks and the do you hear the screaming kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely more interested in it now after these last 2 episodes than I was a couple
It
episodes
almost felt
ago.
like we should have been here about episode 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to rush it because you want the reveals to mean something, but you just can't slam a bunch of filler in there until you get to the good parts.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple more, and I think we're in that area of good parts.
Yeah, and I feel some things will be wrapped up in the next episode, some in 8, but definitely I feel it's gonna end on 8 with more questions of open up of.
Set up for season 3.
But hopefully they wrap our minds around this world.
Yeah, the main problems we've
this
been
world
dealing
makes
with.
sense now. Yeah. So
some more just lay it out.
We shall see. What if you guys would like to hear from us or talk some more? Nate, where can they find you?
Guys, you can find me everywhere that people can be found at Dog Like Nate.
And you can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KaridLane.
Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong. See you guys next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.